neighbor right over there, Brian Burke from Burke's Alewerks. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing all right. How are you, Carrie?
What people don't realize right now that's sort of funny is that I'm inside Row and Ride, you're inside Burke's Alewerks, and I can see you outside running beer out to people, but we're not getting too close. We're just going to chat as neighbors.
It's a little unusual, but that's the world we're in.
A little unusual. So tell me, Brian, how, you and I are both small business owners. We're neighbors.
Yeah.
How are you handling this craziness as a small business? I still see cars pulling up, so you've gotten pretty creative, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I think you and I both know we had to sort of adapt and change on the fly, and we had to do it very quickly. We're one of those businesses that was fortunate enough to be classified as essential. We only sell beer, but we're allowed to be open. So we had to do a couple things. We're packaging a lot more beer to go. We normally pour beer by the pint here in the tap room. And, we had to set processes in place to make sure that we're able to do it in a safe manner. So we've set up an online store, which we set up real quickly on the fly. So people can order their beer online, pay for it online, and we have a little curbside pickup area out front where people can drive up. If they want, they can pop their trunk. We put it in the back of their trunk, and there's really no contact whatsoever. So it was really just a matter of making sure that we were able to change our model and make sure that we're able to operate responsibly.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's so great, Brian. I'm actually a little jealous because I see cars pulling up to you and I'm sitting here all by myself inside Row and Ride, but I'm still very happy for you. I think you're very creative to do so. How do people, once they order their beer online, how do you know they're here? What do they do? Do they text you, call the?
Yeah, so my phone number is on the order. So
okay.
One of two things. Most people either call ahead or text saying we're on our way or we're up front, or literally they just pull up out front. We'll check in, we'll ask their name, and we'll verify that they have an order.
Okay. And tell me about, you've also came up with the idea of the hand sanitizer. What hit you one day where you said, you know what, I'm going to do this hand sanitizer thing. And how do you do it? I find it so interesting. I can't imagine how you actually create it.
Yeah, well, the one thing is we don't directly create it. And, early on, this was an idea that came to us. I was approached locally by someone that asked, could I produce hand sanitizer? And we make beer through fermentation, and we can really only ferment up to about 12% ABV, which is not good as a sanitizing agent. It takes a distillation process. So, when I was asked that, I was like, well, we really can't do it here. But shortly thereafter, we were approached by Dirty Water Distillery down in Plymouth. And they are able to take fermentable product like our beer and distill it up to 80%. So we're part of a collaborative group called South Shore Beer. There's 10 members, all along from Braintree down to Plymouth. And we all contributed a small amount of beer to the distillery, and they were able to then distill it up to 80% hand sanitizer.
I think that's so great. How was the turnout?
So it's early on, it was kind of quiet. We were a couple ounces here or there. We asked people to bring in their own container and we'll fill it for them. We saw quite an uptick in the last week or so. I think trying to get a hold of sanitizer is getting harder and harder. We've been approached by, some of our customers. We've been approached by folks in the medical fields, first responders. We were approached by a funeral director that couldn't get a hold of it. So word was getting out. It's getting very hard to get, and we're actually out of it at the moment ourselves.
Okay. And finally, Brian, how are you? There's so many small businesses that are, we all lose sleep at night. When are we going to get to reopen? When will it be safe to reopen? And when we reopen, is it really safe? How are you getting through this? Besides all your innovative ways, but how are you mentally getting through this?
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of folks have sort of had to adapt to being stuck at home. And for myself, I'm almost busier than normal, right? So we've had to adjust. We're packaging a whole lot more beer, so we're constantly moving. It's not as high a margin as selling pints in the tap room, so we've had to really increase our volume. We've had to scale back a little bit on our distribution, which was the opposite direction to where we wanted to be. So we're going to spend the next couple of weeks getting that capability back in place. So, in addition to selling to go here in the tap room, we can get back out to our retail partners.
You know, in a way, it is almost a good reboot for many businesses. If we can all get through it financially, it's a good reboot because it gives us time to really process how we were doing things and how we could do it better. So I definitely agree with that. What's that beer that I always love to get for our happy hour rides on Friday night, Brian? It's orange. Which one is that?
That would be our blood orange Hefeweizen.
Yeah, the blood orange. Will you leave some of that over there on the curb for me?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
To you.
Hey, and when we finally reopen, let's have a party right out in the parking lot. Sound fair?
I'm in. Let's do it.
All right, Brian, thanks so much for joining us. It was so good to see you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully we'll see you sooner than later.
You too, Carrie. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And for those of you guys that have your story you want to share, email us at info@rowanride.com.